Hey guys, welcome to A Fistful of Dice. My name is Matt, and welcome back to another episode of Hero Workshop, in which we are building a D&D 5th edition character from the ground up, covering things like class, race, background, feats, multiclassing, leveling up, magic, all of that stuff, breaking it down really simply so that people new to the game, or people looking to switch editions, or just, looking for a more in-depth look at 5th edition, can do so without any headache or undue hardship. So in the last episode we talked about magic, how casting works, spells prepared versus spells known versus spell slots, and we picked all of our spells for Damp Foyer, Gnomish Artificer. Now we're going to come up here to the first page of the sheet, and we're going to fill out the rest of the stuff that is unfilled out here. You'll notice we have some empty boxes. So let's talk about that. Inspiration. You're not going to start out with inspiration. Inspiration is a unique mechanic in 5th edition D&D that you can use to give yourself advantage. So some people do it like you either have inspiration or you don't, or you get points of inspiration. So if your DM is handing out points of inspiration, you can keep track of them here, like I have 2 inspiration. And then you can expel one of those inspiration to give yourself advantage on a roll. You can use it after you roll, but before the DM announces whether you've succeeded or not on your roll. Some people have a house rule tool that you can award inspiration to other players. I like that a lot too. So that's what that inspiration box is for. So it's not something you need to worry about for when you first start the character. Now we have armor class. Now normally your armor class would be dictated by the armor that you're wearing, but we're not wearing any armor, which means that our armor class is going to be 10 plus our dexterity modifier, which is 2, so our armor class is 12. So we're a nice squishy wizard. If we were wearing leather armor, the leather armor would say 11 or 12 plus your dexterity modifier or whatever. So that'll be in the equipment section. The current hit points and temporary hit points. Right now we don't have... we have, 8 hit points currently. That's our hit point maximum. If we were gaining hit points, we could put them down there. If we were losing hit points, we could deduct them from our current. Okay, so that's what those boxes are for. Over here we've got our skills. We can go ahead and calculate those now. All of them are based on an ability, which the ability is listed in parentheses next to the skill. And these ones that we filled in with bubbles are going to also get our proficiency bonus, just like we did with our saving throws up here. So I'm going to go ahead and calculate those really quick and come back. Okay, so we have calculated all of our skills using the ability modifiers that we have off to the left here, and adding our proficiency bonus on our proficient skills, which we picked with our class and received with our background. Now, down here we've got our passive wisdom, which is our passive wisdom perception, which is going to be 10 plus our perception. So my passive perception is 11. This is the perception that your DM is going to use if you are not actively looking for something. So this is like wandering into a trap, noticing something, a noise on the wind, or noticing somebody on the horizon. It's things that you're not actively looking for. So that's what the passive perception score is. Now we're going to come over here to our attacks and spell casting. So what we're going to do here is we're going to put the things we're going to use the most. So I'm going to put my light crossbow. Oops, that's not going to fit. So we're just going to put L crossbow. Okay, we're going to put L expo. Okay. And we're also going to put our dagger. And we're going to put firebolt. Okay. So these are the things we're going to probably use most often that we'll need to reference a lot. So let's go ahead and calculate these things. So the light crossbow. So the light crossbow is a ranged weapon, which means it's going to use our dex to calculate its attack. It's also a weapon that we're proficient with because we are a wizard. So that is going to also get our proficiency bonus. So our dex is +2. Our proficiency bonus is +2. So that means we're going to be attacking at +4. Now we're looking at damage. The damage for a light crossbow is D6, which we can see in the equipment section. So we're going to put D6, and then it's a ranged weapon, so we can add our dex to it. So it's going to be D6 +2, and that's going to be piercing damage. Okay. Now, dagger. Dagger is a melee weapon, but it's also a finesse weapon, so we can use either our strength or our dex to calculate it. In this case, it doesn't matter because our strength and our dex are the same. So it's going to be our strength or our dex, which is +2, plus our proficiency bonus because we're proficient with the weapon. So it's going to be +4. And a dagger does d4 and then plus strength or dex, so 2. And I believe the dagger is slashing or piercing. Firebolt. Okay, now this is a spell, right? But it's a spell that you can roll to attack with. So I'm going to go ahead and turn to the Firebolt spell in my book so I can know the amount of damage that it does. And once I find it here... Okay, so it's a ranged spell attack. Now, we calculated our spell attack on page 3 of our character sheet last episode, which is +6, spell attack bonus, +6. That's our spellcasting modifier, or spellcasting ability, which is intelligence, plus our proficiency bonus, which is 2, so that gives us a total of 6. So our attack for the Firebolt spell is going to be +6. And the damage, if we look on the spell, is going to be d10 fire. We don't get to add any bonuses to that because it is not a physical attack. We're not aiming with our dex. We're not, hitting with our strength. It's just magical ability. So it's d10 fire damage. Okay? So those are our 3 basic attacks that we're going to have. If we want to put some more stuff down here, we could. If we had 2 attacks around, we could put that down here so we remember. If we had a spear, we could put the spear, you can throw the spear, 20 feet or whatever. Just little notes so you can easily remember things, that you can do on your turn. If you have some combat maneuvers, or if you want to be able to remember what grapple is, strength versus strength or dex, if you can put notes there that are going to help you in combat, make things, go more fluid. Okay, so that's all the basic stuff on the front of the character sheet. Now, we come down here to the second sheet, and this is all non-mechanical stuff down here. This is stuff that you can use to flesh out your character a little bit. Take note of what they look like, what they act like. Your character should be a growing, living thing. So as your character has adventures, encounters things, grows and changes, keep track of that stuff here on the second sheet. It's there for a reason. You want your character to feel like a living, breathing thing. So definitely utilize this space. You can draw a picture of your character or whatever. You can write down, some stuff about his or her backstory, which will help you, in addition to the background stuff that you have with your traits, your bonds, your ideals and flaws, you can have your character backstory so you know where your character's from, where they're going, what they want. If they have any special magical items, you can put it in here. And then once you start sort of moving, through levels, you can start putting things back here that you don't use as often. So if I find I'm level 8 and I'm not using the Tinker ability as much, I might write Tinker back here instead, so it's not on the front of my sheet. Things like that. So definitely utilize this, figure out how old your character is, what they look like, things like that. I promise you it'll help. And there are some things to help you do that in the background section of the player's handbook, thinking about height and weight and what they look like and stuff like that. So, but yeah, so that pretty much wraps this character up for level 1. We are now ready to bring this character to the table and play them in a Dungeons & Dragons game. This is a fully fleshed out character with their stats, abilities, their spells, their weapons, everything they need to play, and it wasn't all that hard to do. From here, we're going to expand a little bit upon this character. We're going to start, in the coming episodes, we're going to start leveling Damph up. We're going to multi-class him, and we're going to look at feats as well. And as we level him up, we're going to look at, adding new spells to our spell list, buying new equipment, adding hit points, increasing our ability scores, taking feats, taking levels in other classes, really exploring the system and the character creation process, and how to continue growing a character even after the brainstorming and the creation process. So, Anyway, guys, that's going to be it for me. Definitely stay tuned for more episodes. There is much more to come, but for now, your character should be ready to play in your Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition game. Take care and happy gaming all. What's up?
Ice cream?
Ice cream?
Do you want it?
Yeah.